Hello strangers, so today we're going to be taking a look at my new keyboard, which is this, and it is the Royal Kludge RK-S98. It's a 96% keyboard, and I've just bought this from Amazon for £89, which is an absolute bargain. It's a steal considering the features and just the quality and the build of this keyboard. So today I'll cover an unboxing, I'll go over all the features of the keyboard, I'll cover the software briefly, and I'll also do a little sound test of the keys and the switches and so on. And then at the very end, I'll give you my final thoughts, and I'll let you know if you should buy this keyboard. So stick around and find out. Right, first off, we'll have a look at the packaging, see what's involved. We've got the RK logo up the top left, and then down here we've got the model, the RK-S98. Around the sides is all plain, simple, nothing too fancy, nice and clean, which I like to see. On the side here we've got the company website, and on the back again, nice and clean, simple box. So we'll just get my wee knife out here and we'll get into this, see what we've got. Not expecting too much to be inside. It's usually the same stuff in all the keyboard boxes, but we'll see if there's anything different. So first off, you're greeted by a nice dust cover, which is nice to see. So if you put your keyboard on display, it'll keep it nice and clean, or even just on your desk if you want to stop the dust collecting between the keys. Get the keyboard out and put that to the side, and we'll see what else is in the box. So at the back here, I can see some stuff hiding. Yep, we've got a couple of things in here. So there's a little bag up here that's got four spare keyboard switches. These are 3-pin switches. Look quite nice. So these are the linear Viridian switches, and you can also get tactile pale green switches. At the time of ordering, the only ones available were the linear Viridian switches, but these are the ones I would have picked anyway. But you can see here the little transparent bit for the RGB to shine through, and they feel really good quality, all pre-lubed of course, so fantastic. The keyboard is hot-swappable and supports 3-pin and 5-pin switches. And the RGB on the keyboard is side-facing LEDs. The keyboard also features custom stabilisers with silencer foam in between for the spacebar and the L shift, for example. Should help with the noise. And another little thing in the bag is a little plastic pry tool if you want to open the keyboard up. And finally, here we've got your usual or typical keyboard keycap remover and switch remover. I think these come pretty much standard in all these keyboards nowadays. And in this bag here we have the charging cable, which is a 1.8 meter length cable, pretty standard length of cable. But it feels nice, quality cable, nice and thick, which is good to see. Just open it up and I'll show you the connections. So on one end we've got a USB Type-C that plugs directly into the keyboard, and then on the other end we've got a USB Type-A, which is actually an adapter from a USB Type-C, and it's attached so you don't lose it, which is good. Now speaking of charging, this keyboard comes with a 3750 milliamp battery, which should get you about 200 hours with the lights off, or around 30 hours with the lights on, which is pretty decent. And now we shall have a look to see what's inside this little plastic sleeve. And I think it should just be the keyboard and the instructions, and that's it, which it is indeed. So it's quite a nice instruction booklet, to be honest. It's rather than one of these folded up things, you've got to open it all up. But it's got the usual stuff, how to connect it up, the function of the little knob at the top right corner, and Bluetooth connection and so on. But speaking of that, I forgot to mention that this is a 3-mode keyboard, supports 2.4 wireless, wired, and 5.0 Bluetooth. But yeah, the instructions here go through all the connections, how to set it all up. Pretty simple really. And then at the back, what have we got at the back? Actually, it's only in 2 languages, so it's in English or Russian, and my Russian's pretty crap to be honest, so we'll give all that a miss. But here we've got shortcuts and stuff, and the functions of the little display, what all the icons are. What else we've got? We've got some shortcut commands for the actual lights on the keyboard itself, but we'll use the screen and a little dial for that, and all sorts of other shortcuts for multimedia and things like that, including a Mac as well if you ever decide to use this on a Mac. And now onto the keyboard itself, what you're really here to see, this thing of beauty. So this comes in various colours: clay green, turquoise green, which I have, sky blue, and finally the lavender purple. So it's nice choices there, but right away you can just feel the quality in this. Plenty of weight in it, which I really love, and it just looks nice. The keyboard itself is made up of 4 silencing layers. We've got a top plate, sound dampener, pour-on foam, IXPE switch sound dampener pad, the PCB, and then below that sound dampener foam and silicone dampener pad. So plenty of layers to make this thing basically not rattle and be nice and quiet. So at the corner here we've got the RK logo, nothing down the sides, nice and clean down the side there, nothing along the top right edge, and over here we've got our USB-A pass-through, which is good, a little hub if you want to connect other things to that, and of course the USB-C charging point. We've got an on-off switch here, and then at the very top corner here we've got a little toggle switch that toggles between wired mode and wireless mode, spring-loaded, which feels nice. And then here we've got your 2.4 receiver, and it's magnetised, so you will not lose that. That's a nice wee feature as well, that's good. Nothing along the left hand edge at the bottom corner, and then at the front. Turn around the back, you can see right away we've got some nice big rubber feet to stop that from sliding around your desk. And then of course we've got the height adjustments here, and each of these little height adjustments have their own little rubber feet on it. Not quite sure what the angles are on these things, but if I hold the camera to the side, or hold it side on I should say, you can get an idea of roughly the angles you'll get on this, if that's your thing. I don't actually know who uses angles, to be honest. I think most folk just use their keyboards flat down, but really robust, no flex, and the keys are nice as well. The keycaps, double shot PBT, and you can see some of the shortcut commands on this on the sides of the keys, because it is indeed a 96% keyboard, so you'll have some keys missing. But yeah, just overall really nice, lovely looking keyboard. Up the top left here we've also got some indicator lights for your num lock and so on, your caps lock, windows lock, but yeah, lovely. And over here we've got the little control knob, and I'll go into more detail about it later on, but it just feels lovely as well. You can feel all the little increments as you're moving it up and down, and I'll just peel this little bit off. So yep, first impressions, really impressed with this. Fantastic looking keyboard. For keyboard measurements, along the top here it's 409mm, and then down the side it's 140mm. At the back, the thickness of it's around about 30mm, and at the front it's around 19mm. And the last thing I'm going to show you here is just a footprint comparison with the keyboard I was using, which was the Zoya GMK87. This is a 10 keyless keyboard, and as you can see the footprints are pretty similar. Not much in it, to be honest, which is excellent, considering one's a TKL keyboard and the other one is a 96% keyboard. Pretty impressive. So now onto the little screen. So starting off, up the top left we have today's date. To the right of that we have the battery level of the keyboard, and just below that we have the current time. Down here we've got some indicators showing that it's in Windows mode. We're using the 2.4G in the green here, and then we can see that the number lock's on, but it also shows the caps lock and stuff as well. The dial by default will change the volume. That's straight from the home screen, so simple. Turning the dial up and down, turns the volume up and down. Click the button in, we can see the 3 Bluetooth connections if you've got it hooked up to anything else. And then here in green we've got the 2.4G connection, which I use, and then the USB mode if you want to use that. Next along is the home button. This chooses between the date and the time I showed you a minute ago, or you can use a GIF or a GIF file. If I just click this, I can show you the one that comes with the keyboard from Royal Kludge, and on the screen you can see the little GIF. So just press that in again, it takes you back to the menu, scroll past what I've already showed you. We've got a layout here button. You can choose between Windows or Mac. I am of course using Windows, so use that. It takes you back to the menu again. Click the button, scroll past everything again. Oh, sorry, shouldn't be in here. Scroll past that one, and then we come to the effects. So the keyboard has 19, I think it is, 19 effects built in. So just all your usual things, like the spiral, the wave, all the kind of typical effects you get in most keyboards and other RGB stuff. So you can see in the screen hopefully some of the effects. And I think I did say that there should be 19. Just double check that for you while we're here. Yeah, there is in fact 19. So me personally, I just like having a static blue. And again, you can change your colour if you want to any of the primary colours, red, green and blue. There's also yellow and pink here as well. I'll just show you those. So the yellow and the pink is here, and then we've also got cyan and white, or up the top left you can have rainbow spew if that's your thing, but I usually just stick with the blue to match my theme. You can change the brightness as well of the RGB. Again, you can see the percentages you can go through, changing it all the way from 100 down to 0%. And then you've got the speed. Depending on the effect you're using, you can change the speed of that effect. Here we've got languages. We can choose between Chinese and English. I'll stick with English. And then that's it. Just click the return button and it takes you back home. So for the keyboard software, we're just going to pop over to Royal Kludge's website. And as once as you're on their page, you can head over here to software, click on that, and then just scroll down till you find the keyboard that you're looking for. In our case, it is the S98. Where is it? And here it is, the S98 96% keyboard. Just click on this, the software will download, and then just install as normal. So after you've installed the software, you'll get a screen like this, and it's just a case of clicking on the connected device here. It should recognise it automatically. So the first screen here, we can see all the customization for all individual keys if you actually want to physically change anything. Personally, I don't know why you would want to do it, but it's always nice to have that option there. Just a case of clicking on the key and then clicking the command below what to change. There's also the option of holding down the function button and changing the keys as well, so there's plenty of customization. Over here you can also create macros if you want to do that. I'm not going to really go over too much of this, it's just to show you it very quickly. Here we've also got the lighting effects, so these should have tied in with the 19 that I showed you earlier on in a little screen. You can see all these listed here on the left hand side, and of course you can change the colour if you want to change. You can change the brightness, and you can change the time that the keyboard will go to sleep, which is a good thing to have as well, save some battery. And over here we've got custom lighting things we can do. So again, you can see some of the modes, but what's a little bit more different here is you can actually assign these to the individual keys. If you want, you might want to just have all the numbers a different colour or a different effect from the rest of the keyboard. So you just click here, and then you would, same again, you can click the WASD as well and have them separate. If you're a gamer, you might want the WASD to stand out for the rest of the keyboard. But there's plenty of customization here as well, which is quite nice to see. And then finally we've got the TFT, or the little LCD screen you should see. So you can already see what I'm planning to load up, which is Raiden, and that matches my theme of my computer basically. But if you go to hit load, you'll get basically your Windows Explorer thing or your File Explorer. Pick the GIF that you want, you can reposition it, resize it, whatever. I'll just make sure that this one's centered, click OK. But when you go to click load, you'll probably get a little warning coming up, and I'll just show you that. Sorry, apply, and it'll come up saying you need to connect a USB cable. So just remember that, you need to have this thing hooked up by the USB to update the GIF. So I'll just attach the USB, I'll turn it on to USB mode, and you'll get two options here. So the top one will probably be the wireless one, and the bottom is the USB one. Click on the TFT button again, hit apply, and this actually takes ages. I don't know why it takes so long, but it takes at least 2 minutes. So to save you all the hassle, I'll skip forward. But down the bottom right, you should also see that it will show you on the keyboard itself the progress of that GIF being installed to the keyboard. But yeah, overall it takes 2 minutes, and this is how it finally looks. Quite neat, yeah? So my final thoughts on this keyboard: for 89 quid, it's an absolute cracking keyboard. I love the build quality of it. I just love the weight in it as well. It just feels as if it's a kind of good quality keyboard. The keys themselves, the actual switches, are quite like them switches as well. Not as quiet as the switches I had in the custom keyboard that I showed you earlier on, but like I said earlier on, the option's there to swap them out for whatever switches you want. The keys are nice. The only thing that I would have maybe liked to see was if the fonts, the actual keys themselves, are shine through it to actually get that better effect of the RGB. But again, there's nothing stopping you from going out and actually swapping those keys over. And I've actually got a set of keys that I'm probably going to try on it, white pudding ones, to see how it looks. I love the function of the little screen up the top corner and just the information it shows you. So all in all, an absolutely brilliant keyboard. I could see myself quite easily buying more of the Royal Kludge stuff in the future, so more than pleased with it. If you're interested in buying this keyboard, I'll leave an affiliate link down in the description below if you want to have a look at their website and see what else is there for purchase. But that's it, yeah. I think I've covered everything. If you've got any questions on the keyboard, if you're new to Royal Kludge, because it was kind of new to me, I hadn't heard of them before, please feel free to ask any questions below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. But that's it, it's another one, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon. See you later on.